Okay, here's my list of stocks I'll be watching on Thursday. KNDI again. After earnings, it pushed up through 20 on big volume, but then quickly reversed. Another big down day. Now 2 quiet days. So I have this on bounce watch, and I want to look for a possible bounce around 17 as one area of support, and you can see 1650-ish is another area. So there's 2 areas I like. You can see right there the support and a little bit higher here. Sorry, my mouse is set really fast. 17. So either one of those areas, I'll be looking for an intraday bounce. Now it's possible that it might, gap up or just open flat, never go down. In which case, what I would hope for is it trades in a narrow range for a couple hours and then breaks to the upside. You've got a catalyst if it gets up through 18 or 18.13, the previous day's high. This one could make a quick move. So a lot of eyes on KNDI, so it's worth having on watch. I don't look at that chart and love it, but if you follow it, you know that it's kind of poised either for a sell-off down to one of those support areas or a nice bounce one of these days. LIVE had a nice pre-market move the other day, and after the market opened, didn't do much. But now you've got 2 down days, great support below. So I have this one on bounce watch, LIVE. TKMR, just another day down. Just have this one. I don't need that line there anymore. I just have this one on bounce watch as well. Again, a lot of times on bounce watch, what I want to see, I hate to be redundant, is a narrow range for a while and then an upside break. Having something like that with recent passion, when I say recent, last week or so, on watch, and then if you do get a narrow range and then an upside break, you can be in it without having to chase it. You can be, buying it as it's breaking its early high and then sell to others who are chasing it. So it's important to have stuff with recent passion on watch. And I'll give you an example. It was like CSIQ from today. CSIQ had a huge day yesterday, and then today, nice follow through. It was very simple trade. I called this in the chat room when it looked like this. Okay, I just called it, I think, at 30.60, thinking above this little range here would push us through the high of the day. 30.60 with a 30.40 stop. There's the trigger, and was off to the races and went up over $2.20 from there on 20 cents risk. So that's a perfect example of having stocks with recent passion on your watch list. They might give a nice setup tomorrow. So that's why on these videos I don't generally say, here's the exact price I'm going to buy it, because I don't know how it's going to open, right? I didn't know CSIQ was going to gap down a bit today, but I was glad it did, because it gapped down, gave that nice narrow range, and then the high of day break made perfect sense. And then you had yesterday's high as another potential catalyst, a break of that. So there's a good example, and that's what we try to do in the chat room. EXAS. Again, another example. 15 million shares. The story on this one's pretty interesting, and you had recent highs right here, and you kind of had a little channel or a flag pattern after that last move, and now you're kind of coming down and retesting that breakout area. But you'll see a couple bottoming tails the last couple days, so it is finding buyers around 17. Again, what I'd like to see is just a narrow range and then an upside break after an hour or 2 or 3 or whatever. But if this just gets up even over Wednesday's high, over 1750, it could be a good area. Again, I'd really rather just watch it trade on an intraday basis and pick my spot rather than trying to tell you a price right now. Loco, this thing after the IPO just went nuts. Pardon the pun there with the Loco. But now you don't have a green day for 6 days now. So again, and this one was actually on my radar today when it looked like this. I was thinking now you've got the early high, you've got a little bit of a lower high, and it's starting to hold above 32. I thought if it gets through these highs, we're going to rip through the high of the day and it'd be a great trade. But we're running out of time, and it ended up not doing it anyway, so it never gave me a trigger. But I do want to have this back on watch in the same vein of the others I told you for an intraday setup. Fuel Cell is a really nice looking chart here. This isn't much of an intraday trader though, but I'm going to use this video to draw your attention to it. You've got a really nice pattern here, and you've got a long-term kind of resistance right here too. So you get up over, up over this area here, this one could make a really nice move. So Fuel Cell is worth watching, but the average daily range on this is very narrow. So keep it on your radar, but I don't think it's going to be much of a day trader. It's more of a swing idea, I guess. CLDX popped up the other day, and now it's been going sideways for almost a week. So it's actually interesting over this 4-day range. 15. Here's one I will give a price, 1545-ish. If it gets over that, it might make a nice move. So that one's on watch. NTAP. Big volume breakout today. So that, just like CSIQ I just showed you, we just want to have NTAP on watch. I don't have any kind of trigger price. I don't want to chase it. But we never know how it's going to trade tomorrow, so it might give a nice trade. And I'll leave it at that. That's a pretty short, concise list. And with kind of thinner volume August trading, I don't really want to have a big list. I want to focus on a list that's, a lot of recent passion, so we can still get some nice trades. All right, I'm going to quit babbling. We'll talk to you tomorrow.